Good afternoon and welcome to St. Newsfile. I'm Katie Rebagliati. Alex McCrow will have a look at the latest highlights later in the show. But Alex, do you want to just give us a little sample of what we can expect?
Well, Katie, the Trojans are back on the court tomorrow night, and also the Wranglers lost the other night, so we'll also take a look at that.
Well, with the Flames, hopefully they'll burn it up.
Hoping.
Spencer Milkey's enjoying the odd heat we're having here in our city.
Thanks, Katie. Currently we're sitting at 7 degrees, but that wind has picked up to 14 kilometers per hour, ruining my hair day. Back in 1916, we had the low at minus 38.3, which is bone chilling, and I'm glad we're not experiencing that now. We're only 7 degrees away from being the high, and back in 1986 at 13.7. Katie?
Thanks, Spencer. Now here's a look at today's top stories. The Alberta government now has plans to get more doctors in areas that are currently having staff shortages. It has been announced that $1 million worth of funding is going towards post-secondary education to help more schools get medical programs.
And I call this piece as sort of the longer term strategy, right? Because it's going to take time to get the program set up, to get the doctors trained. Dr. Hemmelgard or Dr. Anderson can speak to how long it actually, start med school, get to the process. But we're talking a 6 to 8 year period to be able to do this. But that's a long-term strategy. But if you don't start, you'll never get there.
With its advancement, it's in hope to expand medical education to the University of Lethbridge and the Northwest Polytechnic in Grand Prairie. The Alberta government has announced that the surgical wait times will be lowered in the province. AHS has partnered with the Canadian Surgical Solutions to provide more than 300 hip and knee replacements here in Alberta. About 6,000 people in Calgary are waiting for orthopedic surgeries, with more than half of them saying the wait is just too long. A Calgarian says the wait ended up being worse than the pain.
So as soon as I got diagnosed, I went on the list. I'm still on the list and I've not got a call. And that was October of 2021.
Patients should be scheduled for their surgeries and starting next week. For the 4th year in a row, University of Calgary students will be seeing a rise in their tuition. Students and the student union have showed their concerns and are now worried about the affordability of school for their students. Students are now at a point where they need to pick between food or school. The student union is providing funding and food banks for students who are struggling financially. Since 2019, university students have seen a 33% increase in tuition. Tuition for undergrad students will be increasing 5.5%, and for nursing students will see an increase of 8%. International students will now have to pay over $15,000 when they're registering, and with a yearly total at $17,000.
Students are already at a breaking point, and they have been for a few years now. Students are increasingly choosing between rent or food and the cost of their education. A survey that we did recently showed that 67% of students felt that these new increases will cause them either moderate or extreme financial strain.
Students are now also being told to continue to expect to see the tuition increase throughout the next few years. Tuition isn't the only thing that's stressing students out when it comes to their finances. State students are having a lot of concerns with the cost of parking here on campus. Parking at State can cost individuals up to $27 per day, which is an overwhelming amount as many students believe it is far too expensive. Due to these high costs, some students attempt to park without making any payments, but that more than often than not results in tickets that end up being more expensive.
So if they didn't pay, if nobody's paid, like parking without paid, they get $45 ticket. Yeah, I know, quite expensive, but there is no difference, just the same amount.
While State students are happy with nearly everything else here at school, parking prices remain to be frustrating to many. Work is now underway at the University of Calgary to install a large solar panel mount on the south side of its social sciences building. This is a part of the university's efforts to get maintenance done to the building while also working towards its climate action plan. DJ Todd found his energy to make his way down to the University of Calgary as he joins us now. DJ, how are things looking?
Well, Katie, the university could have went with a simple construction, but with plans of these solar panels coming in, they plan to take charge when it comes to energy.
Construction is fully underway on the UFC campus, with the first target being the Social Science Building, as the large solar panel wall mounted on the south side of the building is in progress, with aims of it being fully complete by September. It's the first part of the university's efforts to get maintenance to older parts of the campus while still working towards the school's climate action plan. While they could have gone for a simpler cement wall, project developers think solar is a no-brainer. The wall is made up of 1,000 square meters of the solar photovoltaic. It's said that the system will generate 225 kilowatts of electricity, which is 90% of the electricity required, something electricity experts at SAIT think should be implemented on other campuses.
Economy right now, especially post-COVID, is for a pure material cost. The north panels that are the black metal actually cost more than the PVs.
Interests that students are exhibiting are changing. I definitely think we have something to gain by studying that example.
The project is one of many that is fully funded by the Alberta government's Capital Renewal Program. Students feel that solar is definitely the way of the future and that the project was money well spent.
With the recent advances in solar technology, we are seeing actually massive improvements in the efficiency of the technology, which allows us to really harvest as much as we can from solar.
Solar power has been gaining steadily in Canada, with close to 350,000 kilowatt hours generated per month. Back to you, Katie.
That was DJ Todd reporting from the University of Calgary. Thank you, DJ. With many different sectors moving to lower their carbon footprint, SAIT is on the cutting edge to help them. It is not just about oil and gas anymore, as Keith Java reports. Just because it sounds easy to go green, that isn't always the case.
Do you know about the applied research? It's one of SAIT's best well-kept secrets, and it drives me nuts.
Mark Butler would like everyone to know that SAIT has been recognized as one of the top 5 research schools in the country. Along with being recognized, SAIT received $12.9 million in research funding last year. That money is allowing SAIT to develop more programming that will enhance student learning in many key eco-friendly areas. SAIT is looking to expand programs in hydro and solar.
That we will always be involved in energy in all its forms, conventional and non-conventional, but we also have an applied research area dealing strictly on the idea of energy research, clean, unconventional technology solutions, environmental technologies.
But one thing SAIT isn't looking at least for now, is something like converting a regular powered vehicle to an electric one. That isn't going to happen anytime soon and can be dangerous.
A lot of safety infractions and issues that take place. I've seen a couple homemade versions of electric vehicles over the years, and they scare me, quite frankly. There's very few that are done properly and safely. Majority of them are kind of scabbed together. So if I could recommend anything, it would be don't go that route.
Stats Canada says the use of electric vehicles is on the rise. In 2021, there were more than 300,000 hybrids, more than 150,000 battery vehicles, close to 96,000 plug-ins.
It's never easy going green. Thankfully, SAIT is helping lead Canada to greener pastures. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Keith Driver.
The Calgary Police Commission held its regular meeting yesterday, and violent crimes were on the agenda. Cases of gun violence have skyrocketed in Calgary. Irene Tagama reports that the commission wants police to take action.
It was just 3 weeks ago that shots rang out here in the Beltline. One person was injured, fortunately not seriously, but it was the latest in a string of gun crimes in Calgary.
Obviously gun violence has been increasing, Maybe, I don't necessarily have an answer for it, but obviously police enforcement needs to be supported, and maybe overall we need to be careful with our gun laws at the same time.
Stats released at this week's Police Commission meeting show gun violence in Calgary is increasing at an alarming rate. In 2022, there were 126 shootings, which represents the highest shooting incidence since the police began collecting the data back in 2015.
There's a national conversation around firearms legislation and how to best impact those types of firearms within our community.
The latest numbers are 33% higher than 2021 and 45% above the 5-year average. Many Calgarians find the numbers alarming, and so the police will need the public's help in enforcing the gun laws.
Despite the crime trends happening around the city, people still find Calgary a safe place to live compared to other places around the country or the world.
Overall, for me, I actually do feel very safe in Calgary. I've traveled the world and haven't experienced any major concerns myself.
Canada is still a very safe place. It ranks number 82 behind many countries such as Venezuela, South Africa, and of course the United States. For State Newsfile, I'm Irene Tagama.
Biking is a great way to get around Calgary. It is enjoyable and convenient even when temperatures drop below zero. But winter cycling can be intimidating, especially when the ground is covered in snow. Dulce Abella has more.
I've come to really enjoy biking in the winter as well.
Many Calgarians enjoy riding their bikes around the city because there is a vast network of pathways and so many places to explore. In fact, Calgary has the most extensive bikeway network in North America. That makes it difficult for the city to keep those pathways clear in the winter, where they occasionally overlook the smallest things, such as a tiny icy patch.
I would say the city is doing a good job in certain spots, but other spots not so much.
Because after a snowfall, you might ride a section that's cleared, and then there's 4 blocks where there's still snow on the ground, and then it might be cleared again, and so it's kind of broken.
All marked on-street bicycle lanes are priority number 2 under the city's snow and ice control policy, which means they are supposed to be cleared within 48 hours of a snowfall ending. Priority number 1 areas are those in the downtown cycle tracks, which are cleared 24 hours after the last snowfall.
Most people would assume that the cold would present the biggest obstacle for a cyclist or a biker throughout the winter, but in reality, there's actually more tensions with cars because on some days, the slippery conditions would push them further from the curb.
Every year, an average of 74 Canadians are killed in cycling collisions, so signal lights specifically for bikers in certain areas would certainly be beneficial.
And it's 17th Ave and 15th Street Southwest. There's a crosswalk there, and it's so dangerous. It's always been dangerous. Cars don't stop, and there's a crosswalk there, but they just ignore it.
The city has designed the biking routes for people of all ages and abilities. This means a portion of the city's bike lane infrastructure is created with total drivers, bikers, and pedestrian safety in mind. For State Newsfile, I'm Dulce Abella.
Those are today's top stories. We'll have a look at the full forecast after the break. But first, Spencer Milkey will tell us what's going on around Calgary this week.
Head down to the Great Eagle Casino for a Long Street Heart concert. The Canadian rock band is still rocking out with their new frontman Paul McNair after losing their iconic lead singer Kenny Shields in 2017. The high performance rodeo is still ongoing as the festival has been running since the 16th and will finish running February 5th. Witness orchestras, contemporary dance, and master cinematography. The Loose Moose Theatre is hosting their adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood. Don't get too spooked from the big bad wolf, as he may impersonate your grandma. Calgary's annual RV Expo is back in town. See the newest products alongside end-of-the-year clearance RVs and find the perfect RV for you. Chinook Blast is back with a plethora of new attractions, including a laser light show, a contemporary art exhibit, and a dragon sculpture that breathes fire. Sinalta is hosting their annual Winterfest, where the whole family can enjoy s'mores, hot chocolate, face paint, and tobogganing. A true celebration of winter.
Welcome home. What took you so long?
Every single Wednesday, Rumble House hosts an open house auction for their community to auction off their artwork. Beginner or experienced, Rumble House invites artists of all skill levels to participate in their weekly events.
To get involved in our events, call or text 403-629-7424
403-629-7424
or check us out on Facebook for more information.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is broadcast news. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. We're going to take a look at the west side of the country here. We have some higher temperatures for the end of January with 5 degrees in Vancouver, 8 in Edmonton, and that's due to that warm coastal winds going up. We also have a cold front going down towards Winnipeg there, and that's causing for all the snow and that minus 12 degrees. Taking a look at the other side of the province or the country, we have a warm front kind of coming up the St. Lawrence River, and that's causing for Halifax to be warmer than usual. There is a big storm in Nova Scotia there, and so that's causing for a ton of rain, but pretty steady cloudy temperatures around. Now let's take a look at where I would much rather be. Palm Springs is feeling the sun, but the temperature sits at a modest 15. Barbados is hot and overcast at 28. Honolulu and Orlando have cloudy skies and are comfortable at 22 and 16 respectively. Las Vegas is actually colder than Calgary, sitting way down at 6 degrees. In Calgary today, we're currently sitting at 7 degrees, and those clouds are sticking around. That wind has picked up since this morning, and it's now at 20 kilometers per hour. And over the weekend, we are going to get a lot of snow. Looking across the province, we have a low pressure system coming up from the north all the way down towards Medicine Hat, and that's going to bring a ton of cold weather, some snow, the whole shebang. Banff is going to get the worst of it. They're going to hit minus 26 this weekend, which is not very nice, but at least the mountains will get absolutely dumped with snow. So for those skiers and snowboarders, like, good signs there. Now let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. This weekend we are going to experience some snow, and it is dropping down to minus 17 tomorrow. The low on Saturday is minus 21, so not ideal at all, but that sun peaks out on Sunday, and it does get a little warmer towards next week. After the break, we have Alex Mad Dog McLeod with sports.
I used to hear voices. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't matter. Walked around in circles, didn't know where to go. Until I found my purpose. Through people that helped me live a better life and build a better future. Now I could finally see that I'm able, capable, and worthy.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Alex McLeod joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. So what's going on in the sports world, Alex?
Well, Katie, the Flames are playing tonight, and later on, we'll take a look at the Wranglers. So, coming up tonight at 6:30, our SAIT Trojans will be streaming an Ultimate Smash Bros. Tournament. Head to the SAIT Twitch channel to cheer the teams on. If basketball is more your thing, our SAIT Trojans are back on the court tomorrow night. They are traveling up to Red Deer to take on the Kings and Queens. Last night, the Trojans took over the campus center to practice ahead of the game. Both the men's and women's teams were there to fine-tune their skills. Lots of drills were being run, but they had one main focus.
Red Deer's a big team. This is probably one of the better teams that they've had in the past couple of years. They're a big team. They can shoot the ball. So our main point of emphasis is to concentrate on defense and concentrate on locking them down.
The women's take the court at 6 and the men's at 8. The Toronto Raptors were showing their claws last night against the Sacramento Kings. Pascal Siakam was the star of the Raptors with 26 points. The game started out with a jump ball snatched by the Kings. It seems like they would get the first point as it quickly turned over to them. The Raptors quickly turned it over and got a three-pointer by number 33, Gary Trent Jr. Later on in the first, the Kings had a lead, but number 23, Fred VanVleet, tied the game. Not much excitement in the second, but the Raptors were able to pull ahead. Wow, look at that shot. Whoa! Later on in the third, the Raptors scored another three-pointers. The Raptors were really the star players picking it up in the fourth. They scored dunk after dunk, leading them to a victory. It was a tight game point-wise. The Raptors won with a score of 113 to 97. They play the Golden State Warriors tomorrow at 8. The Oilers were back on the ice last night. They faced off against the Blue Jackets, hoping to continue their win streak. Unfortunately for the Oilers, they didn't get lucky number 7. The game started with a close goal by number 13 on the Oilers, but the Columbus goalie quickly stopped it. There was a lot of back and forth within the first period. Things really picked up when Columbus player Boone Jenner got a hold of the puck and scoring the first goal of the night. In the second, Oilers player Derek Ryan was past the puck and broke away to tie the game. Edmonton was able to get a 2-1 lead when Zach Hyman scored. Unfortunately for the Oilers, Columbus scored again, leading into an overtime game. Columbus player Kent Johnson got the game winner with a bar down on Edmonton. Lots of boos were heard in the crowd as Johnny Hockey took the ice. Columbus still came out on top with a 3-2 win. The Oilers will take on the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday. The Wranglers played the second game of a back-to-back with the Ontario Reign last night. Unfortunately for the Wranglers, they got rained on. The Wranglers started out strong with a point by number 6, Mitch McLean. After a bit of roughing at the boards, punches started to be thrown. It was a pretty physical night. The Wranglers picked it up again with a goal by number 27, Nick DeSimone. Tensions were high as the game went on with a doggy pile in front of the Reign's net. It was a very physical game with pushing from the Wranglers and the Reign, again, right in front of the Reign's net. The fight seemed to ignite a storm for the Reign. Number 51, Austin Wagner, scored in the third. The team quickly scored after with a goal that left the players scrambling. Heading into overtime, the Reign took charge. Number 23, Lies Anderson, scored the game-winning goal. They came so close, but sadly didn't make it. The Wranglers lost with a final goal of 2-3. They will take on the Henderson Silver Knights on Saturday. The Calgary Flames are back on the ice tonight as they take on the Chicago Blackhawks. The team is looking to secure another win after the tight overtime game on Monday. The Flames are currently 5th in the Pacific Division, so worries don't seem too high. There are some players to watch out for tonight. Elias Lindholm is currently leading in points, while Nazem Kadri leads in goals. On Monday, Kadri scored his team-leading 19th goal of the season. Kadri is 1 goal away from becoming the first Flame to hit the 20-goal mark this season. He sure is making his name here in Calgary. The Flames have won their past 2 games. Let's hope they get the third time. Let's hope for third time's charm tonight for the Flames. Head down to the Saddle Dome to cheer on your Calgary Flames. Puck drop is at 7. For my football fans, get ready for an exciting weekend. The NFL Conference Championships are back. On Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers will start off in the NFC Championships. If they win, this will be the team's 8th time in the Super Bowl. The game will start at 1 when the 49ers take the field. There will be lots of excitement. They are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams are excited to take the field with a possibility to head to the Super Bowl. Later in the day, the Cincinnati Bengals will take the field. The AFC Championship will start at 4:30. The Bengals are worried about the cold after last night's game. They are prepared to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are hoping to score a spot in the Super Bowl. Both will be an exciting back-to-back games, so don't miss them. The winners will head to the Super Bowl on February 11th. And that's a look at sports.
Love to see. Hopefully the Flames will be doing good and continue that streak there.
Yeah, for sure.
So after the break, we'll have a look at a different type of sport. So we're going to keep that sport little train going, but stay tuned.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is broadcast news. Come and dare to be on air.
Figure skating is a sport that many Canadians are familiar with. Despite this, synchronized skating is relatively an unknown sport in Canada. 8 to 16 skaters skate perfectly synchronized while performing challenging technical elements that are entertaining to watch. Colleen Curry learns more and is going to speak to us about this local team.
Figure skating is a popular sport in Canada, and the caliber of Canadian skaters is well known worldwide. But despite that, there is one category that is less known, called synchronized skating.
We have technical requirements, and then they're all judged, and there's all very specific, each element has very specific requirements that we need to do. And it's artistic, it's athletic, and it's a team sport, which differentiates it from all the other disciplines in skating.
This sport is definitely not on the radar of enough people. I feel like it is up and coming, and what the steps the ISU, which is the International Skating Union, has taken, which has amalgamated synchronized skating with the other disciplines, so that's the pair, singles, and dance, is a very smart move.
If you're, little starting out, it's literally for everyone. We have ages all across the board, and we also offer teams that all across the board. So it depends on your level of commitment, your level of skating, but it's truly for everyone.
A lot of girls that I grew up with single skating, I think, especially as you kind of grow older and grow out of the singles competition, it's just a beautiful way to continue to be on the ice, still be creative, but also share that with other people. So.
As the popularity of synchronized skating increases, it will gain more recognition. Perhaps soon we'll be able to watch our teams on the Olympic stage. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Colleen Curry.
Synchronized skating, that's sure interesting. I grew up as a competitive dancer. I'm even still a competitive dancer, but couldn't imagine doing it in the cold.
I played hockey growing up, and I remember trying on figure skates, and it's harder than it looks.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I sometimes can barely even skate on hockey skates, so I don't know how they have it all synchronized and make it look good as well.
I don't know how they stop. I just stop till I hit the board, That's the world I'm living in.
Jump in the ice on the snow pile and stuff.
I love dancing. Synchronized skating looks beautiful and amazing, but I wouldn't want to be in the cold, which just reminds me of the weather, and I think, are we going to expect some cold happening, Spencer?
Yeah, absolutely. Over the weekend, we are going to have that snow rolling back into Calgary. I know I like a little snow here and there. I don't like the grounds to be super muddy and gross there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to SAIT Newsfile. We'll be back next week. Have a nice night.